So it's pretty challenging to build all of Tamriel. Obviously, we look at Skyrim. Obviously, we look at Oblivion and Morrowind. It's really the most recent game, the recent three. And it's really just finding a style where we can bring all three together and unify it. The games came out over a period of 20 years, and so there's tons of lore and tons of stories. And Morrowind is one of those kind of weirder places that's actually described in lore as more of an alien landscape. Morrowind was, it's kind of the land of giant mushrooms and, a lot of that kind of stuff. So we'd still need to incorporate those things into it. For me, when I played Morrowind, that was just, an eye-opening experience as far as game development is concerned. I love that game. Specifically, one of the areas that I was really excited to go back to was the Daedric temples. What we've done with the Daedric temple is really nice, and they look really cool. So with Cyrodiil, we start with height map. So the most important thing for the art team is to understand that we have to support the game design. The game has to be fun, it has to be playable. You can recognize specific locations in Cyrodiil that you would have encountered in Oblivion. There's going to be some differences though because of the time period difference, but also because we didn't want to create a world where people had to traverse huge mountain ranges to get to where they needed to go. We have to allow players to access keeps and caves and resources and all that stuff. But with that said, our artists actually go into Oblivion. When they're working on an area, they have that game up as reference. So we are as true to it as we can. The later games, Skyrim and Oblivion, I think Oblivion was treated more realistically. I think Skyrim went to a place where it kind of went back to a little bit more stylization, but it definitely has that realistic kind of gritty feel. My view is that MMOs, we're not really at the technical state with MMOs, the graphics technology, to really be able to pull off photorealism. Like we can't do it. And in our game, particularly, our target is 200 characters on screen for our massive battles. And so that puts us at technical limitations as far as polygons and textures and things like that. So there's no way we're going to get, photorealism. So in order to make the game look good and interesting, we make it stylized. The important point is to make it feel handcrafted. I think that's more important than photorealism. I think that's what people respond to. So we're incorporating some of those, fantasy elements, the giant mushrooms and Morrowind, but we're also putting in that gritty feel and the texture. So every building has a weathered kind of grime look. The armor is, it's not all shiny and pristine. It's gritty and weathered as well. As far as assets, we make as many assets as we possibly can. The world builders can't have enough assets. And that's one of the great things about an MMO, actually, is post-launch, you don't stop working on the product. So we're going to continue to make more and more assets and build out more and more territories. The world builders are going in, they're taking assets, everything is hand-placed, there's no procedural construction. So a lot of MMOs, a lot of games use procedural methodologies to lay stuff down quickly, and we're not doing that. Our artists go in and hand paint down all of the grass, place every tree by hand. And that's where we get that unique look and feel for every environment. We certainly have to reuse some houses and reuse some structures, but when we build out an architecture set, for example, we won't use every building in that set in every place. Our goal, first and foremost, is to create handcrafted environments. I think that's what the Elder Scrolls games are really known for, particularly in the later games, is that handcrafted look and feel, and we're no exception.